Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Wednesday, June 15th, 2016.
Commissioner Davis, Rodriguez, James, repenting and assent are present. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Tim Tyson, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Hannah Choi, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Chris Johnson, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Mark Starr, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning, Lori Rittenberg, City Attorney.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we did not receive any speaker cards under general public comment. We also do not have any comment cards under the Neighborhood Council Committee considerations. We did receive 2 speaker cards on item number 10 for the regular agenda and none for the special agenda.
Okay, then we'll close general public comment. Let's take care of a couple of administrative items. Agenda item number 21, Maine Electric Supply Company has transmitted a stop notice in the amount of $14,055.72 in connection with the new Northeast Area Police Station project. The contractor is Bernard's Brothers Incorporated. Is there a second to my motion that we receive agenda item number 21 forthwith? By Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 20, the mayor has approved and authorized the board to execute a proposed memorandum of agreement between the city and 9 public agencies regarding the administration and cost sharing for the implementing of the coordinated integrated monitoring plan for the Dominguez Channel Watershed Management Area. This was approved by our board on April 27, 2016, sent back for signature. Is there a second to my motion that we adopt agenda item 20 forthwith by Commissioner Davis? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item, let's do, Mr. Flamenco, we have some assessment hearings. Let's do 3 through 7 assessment hearings in council districts 1, 4, 3, and 14, respectively. Mr. Flamenco will do 3 through 7 first.
Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Items 3 to 7 pertain to lighting districts which we are creating in conjunction with private development projects. Ballots for items 3 to 7 were mailed on May 4th, 2016. Ballots must be received by the City Clerk's office by next Wednesday, June 22nd. We have not received any objections to date on items 3 to 7. We are requesting for the board to adopt and forward items 3 to 7 forthwith to City Council.
Any questions regarding 3 through 7? Commissioner Rodriguez has made a motion that we adopt 3 through 7. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt 3 through 7. Mr. Flamenco, 8 through 10. On 8 through 10, these are annual assessment hearings that are citywide assessment districts. Mr. Campos, some clarification on 8 through 10?
Yes, Mr. President, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. Just a quick clarification on 8, 9, and 10. The agenda indicated the City Council's hearing is scheduled for 5/22. The actual hearing is scheduled for June 22nd, 2016. The notice of intent was heard by City Council on 5/25/2016. So again, just to clarify, 8, 9, and 10, the notice of intent was heard by City Council on May 25th. The actual City Council hearing for the item that's being before your board today is scheduled for June 22nd, 2016. We will update our journal accordingly. Just wanted to read that into the record.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Flamenco?
Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Items 8, 9, and 10 pertain to the annual assessment for street lighting maintenance and operation for the 2016-2017 fiscal year. On May 13, 2016, the board adopted our board reports and ordinance of intention for these 3 items so that the required protest hearings may be scheduled today at the board and next week at City Council. Confirmation of the assessments by July 31st, 2016 is necessary for the County of Los Angeles to accept and include our assessments for collection on the 2016-2017 property tax bills. Approval of items 8, 9, and 10 will result in an assessment revenue of approximately $48.85 million to the Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment Fund for the upcoming 2016-2017 fiscal year. Notably, item 8, the Los Angeles City Lighting District, $45,427,803. Item 9, the 9697 Z Series, approximately $122,118. Item 10, the Prop 218 confirmed lighting districts, approximately $3,297,179. We have not received any objections to date on items 8, 9, or 10. We are requesting for the board to adopt these 3 items and forward them forthwith to City Council.
Questions at all on 8, 9, or 10? Is there a motion on 8, 9, and 10 by Commissioner Rodriguez? I'll second it along with Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda items 8 through 10. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Before we get to number 1 in the bids, Mr. Flamenco, agenda item number 2 is a street lighting assessment. Actually, let's go ahead and do the bids, and then we'll get to number 2. Agenda item number 1, the receipt of bids for 2 public works projects, one Mar Vista, one for Westchester, both in Council District 11. Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. The bids to be received today for June 15th is for the Mar Vista Series to multiple high voltage conversion for fiscal year 2015-2016. This is a street lighting project in Council District 11. The city has estimated this project to be at $1,472,000 even. The first bid received for the first project is from VT Electric Incorporated, that's Victor Tom Electric Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $1,549,325 even. That's $1,549,325 from VT Electric Incorporated. The second bid received for the first project is from Ferreira Construction Company, Incorporated, doing business as Ferreira Coastal Construction Company, for a total bid amount of $1,507,521 even. That's $1,507,521 from Ferreira Coastal Construction Company. The third bid received for the first project is from R&H, that's Robert and Henry Industries, doing business as Best Electric, for a total bid amount of $1,660,568.50. That's $1,660,568.50 from R&H Industries, doing business as Best Electric. The fourth bid received for the first project is from Select Electric Incorporated for a total bid amount of $1,470,033 even. That's $1,470,033 from Select Electric Incorporated. For the record, line item 5 and line item 21 has been lined out by the contractor but initialed. The fifth bid received for the first project is from Two Brothers Construction Corporation for a total bid amount of $1,474,575 even. That's $1,474,575 from Two Brothers Construction Corporation. The sixth bid received for the first project is from KDC Incorporated, doing business as Dynalectric, for a total bid amount of $1,591,297 even. That's $1,591,297 from Dynalectric. The seventh and final bid for the first project is from Servertech, that's S-E-R-V for Victor, I-T for Tom, E-K, Solutions Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $1,477,893 even. That's $1,477,893 from Subvertec Solutions Incorporated. President James, that concludes the bid openings for the first project. The second project we will open up bids for today, for June 15, 2016, is for the Westchester Playa del Rey series to multiple high voltage conversion for fiscal year 2015-2016. This is a street lighting project in Council District 11. The city has estimated this project to be at $989,200 even. The first bid received for the second project is from Select Electric Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $1,165,817 even. That's $1,165,817 from Select Electric Incorporated. The second bid received for the second project is from R&H Industries, doing business as Best Electric, for a total bid amount of $1,033,877.55. That is $1,033,877.55 from Best Electric. The third bid received for the second project is from Two Brothers Construction Corporation, for a total bid amount of $1,156,628 even. That's $1,156,628 from Two Brothers Construction Corporation. The fourth bid received for the second project is from Ferreira Construction Company, Incorporated, doing business as Ferreira Coastal Construction Company, for a total bid amount of $1,199,921 even. That's $1,199,921 from Ferreira Coastal Construction Company. The fifth bid received for the second project is from KDC Incorporated, doing business as Dynalectric, for a total bid amount of $1,039,008 even. That's $1,039,008 from KDC Incorporated, doing business as Dynalectric. The sixth bid received for the second project is from Subvertec Solutions Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $1,065,820 even. That's $1,065,820 from Subvertec Solutions Incorporated. The seventh and final bid received for the second project is from VT Electric Incorporated, that's Victor Tom Electric Incorporated, for a total bid amount of $980,173 even. That's $980,173 from VT Electric Incorporated. President James, that concludes the bid openings for the second project and the bid openings for today's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Excuse me. Thank you, Ms. Carter. Agenda item number 2, assessment hearing number 1, Council District 8, Crenshaw Boulevard and Slauson Avenue number 1, Street Lighting Maintenance Assessment District, City Council hearing set for June 22nd, 2016, along with the council file. Mr. Flamenco on number 2.
Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Item 2 pertains to a lighting district which we are creating in conjunction with MTA's Crenshaw Boulevard LAX Transit Corridor project. We did receive objections on this item. I will begin with some background information and then provide a description of the objection. Our efforts to create the Crenshaw Boulevard and Slauson Avenue Lighting District began in May 2015. The board adopted the old Crenshaw Boulevard and Slauson Avenue Lighting District on December 9th, 2015. The council hearing took place the following week on December 16th, 2015. It is important to note that on July 1st, 2015, there was a change in council member for Council District 8 from Bernard Parks to Marquise Harris Dawson. In November of 2015, Councilmember Harris Dawson contacted our office to discuss the ongoing lighting district and the proposed lighting equipment for Crenshaw Boulevard. Thereafter, the project scope, the lighting design, and the lighting equipment changed. However, the ballot measure was well underway with the old lighting design. Ballots were already mailed and due in a few weeks. Thus, at the December 16, 2015 council hearing, on the recommendation of Councilmember Harris Dawson, the City Council approved the motion to receive and file the old Crenshaw Boulevard and Slauson Avenue Lighting District, thereby sealing all ballots received.
Thereby, I'm sorry, Ruben, thereby what?
Sealing all of the ballots that have been received. The objection, here comes the objection. We received objections from approximately 5 to 7 benefiting property owners who are objecting to the City Council's action to receive and file and not opening the ballots or receive the results of the original ballot measure. These property owners believe that the city did open the ballots and the ballot measure failed, and we are making these changes to force the lighting district and annual street lighting maintenance assets upon them. We tried to assure the property owners that the ballots from the original lighting district have never been opened. The ballot proceeding was canceled by City Council on December 16, 2015 due to a change in project scope. So the old lighting district, in coordination with former Councilmember Bernard Parks, does not match the current proposed lighting design in coordination with Councilmember Harris Dawson. Lastly, we received a protest from some property owners who believe that since this is an MTA project, MTA should be required to not only pay 100% of the construction costs, but also 100% of the street lighting maintenance costs as well. We informed property owners that if the public roadway or sidewalk in front of your property or adjacent to your property is being illuminated, then the city considers you to be receiving benefit from the streetlight and will include your parcel in the lighting district regardless of who's paying for the construction costs. Note, we did remind all property owners who contacted our office of today's board hearing and next week's council hearing if they want to express their opposition to the proposed lighting district. Our efforts to create the new and current Crenshaw Boulevard and Slauson Avenue number 1 lighting district began in February of 2016 in coordination with Council District 8. Ballots were mailed on May 4th, 2016. Ballots must be received by next Wednesday, June 22nd. We are requesting for the board to deny the described objections and or protests. We are also requesting for the board to adopt and forward this item to City Council.
And Ruben, just to be clear for the record, the recommendations in the board report are consistent with your oral report. That's the request, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Before we have any further questions or commentary, we have a speaker card that came in on number 2. Mr. Herman on agenda item number 2.
Good morning. As you heard on the review of this comment regarding Mr. Dawson and Mr. Price, you see how important zone changes are? Do you see how they impact our communities? How they make us become fearful that these new rules, these new ideas are an act of treason to the public. Because the public has a right to make comment. The public has a right under the Brown Act to engage in what action this commission takes on their behalf. So don't rule out our discretion under the Brown Act 54954.A, because technically everything Herb Weston do is fucked up, and that's my opinion. As an American citizen, there's nothing worse than to take the action of abuse towards any person who stands up and advocates on the community, such as Wayne Spindler. Stop keeping us out of meetings. Stop threatening me in plum meetings, Jose Huizar. And stop saying that I am throwing fucking furniture around, that fucking puto O'Farrell. That's my opinion. I don't go to disrupt your meetings. I'm there for a purpose. But you've engaged me to use offensive criticism. I'm going to use it to the fullest. So I'm not a threat, nor is Wayne Spindler. So stop harassing us, stop threatening us, and more so, stop sending the LAPD detectives to arrest us falsely, perjury on behalf of Herb Wesson, and worst of all, the patrons, the citizens the advocates of Los Angeles have a right to comment. And for the record, I placed my card under Brandenburg versus Ohio, 1969, KKK ruling, USC 395, 444, 1969.
2 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Any questions regarding Mr. Flamenco's presentation? Commissioner Davis?
I wanted to just be clear. The council's decision was what, Mr. Rubin?
The council's decision was to receive and file the old lighting district, thereby sealing the ballots.
Okay. Okay.
And then going forward...
And then moving forward with his proposed lighting design.
With the new proposal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2. Commissioner Rodriguez has seconded it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. Thank you, sir. Agenda item number 11, I believe, is where we are. I think we've gone through the top 10 now. Bureau of Engineering, Council District 14, recommending that the board authorize the city engineer to, first of all, sole source the selection of triple friction pendulum bearings. That's a brand of bearings in the amount of $4,550,000 and negotiate a price agreement with Earthquake Protection Systems for the triple friction pendulum bearings. These will be procured by Skanska, Stacy, and Whitbeck, a joint venture, under the forthcoming construction task order number 4 for the viaduct foundations from the construction manager, general contractor contract in connection with the 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project. Mr. Bazzi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Al Bazzi, Bureau of Engineering, 6th Street Viaduct Division. The 6th Street Viaduct project utilizes the construction manager general contractor vehicle, which is known as CMGC. The city executed 2 separate contracts, one with the designer, HNTB, and one with the contractor, SSW. Project is currently in the demolition phase right now. So as part of the CMGC contract, construction packages gets issued, also known as task work orders. The next one that will be issued is the demolition package. This package includes the procurement of 32 triple pendulum bearings, which is the subject matter of this report in front of us today. Now I'd like to invite you to reference the fact sheet that I passed to you to further explain why we're using them. So in California, the main concern in bridge design is meeting the seismic demands while maintaining the cost at a minimum. And since we have a very unique design for the 6th Street Bridge, the use of traditional elements would have resulted in additional cost of $30 million. And that's when the designer introduced the idea of using these triple pendulum bearings. And what's unique about them is this particular bearing requires a much smaller footprint than the other types of bearings that are available out there. So this is going to result in using 7-foot columns of the bridge as compared to 10-foot columns. And that resulted in additional savings of $15 million. So in conclusion, to meet all the seismic requirements while not increasing the cost of the viaduct, this type of bearing is the only viable solution we have. And EPS holds a patent on this bearing until May 12, 2026. I've attached some photos. You can see the location of the bearings in the first photo on the top. And I've also attached some photos what the bearing looks like. The last one is where the testing was conducted. And that particular simulation there, it applies a 1,000-year event. So imagine, so that exceeds any earthquake that's recorded in history. I can't really put a number on it, but it's that big of a magnitude. This bridge is not going anywhere.
So, Mr. Bazzi, just a couple of questions. Will the bearings be on, first of all, just so the record's clear, they've got the patent, so it's theirs for as long as the patent is still active, I think 2027 or 9 or whatever it is. Do the bearings exist in every one of the pillars, or do they alternate? It appears from the photo that it's in every one of them, but
It is in every one, Commissioner. Every single column will have that isolation bearing right there. Otherwise, it will create weak links. So to make it continuous, every single column has it.
Commissioner Rodriguez?
Thank you, Al. It's fascinating to just look at it, and I was commenting to Commissioner James, hopefully we'll never have to fully test it. And I can only imagine the ride if you're on the bridge during an event. But my question is, where has this, do we have any other locations in Los Angeles? Is this going to be our first application using this particular element?
In Los Angeles, there have not been any applications yet. It's a fairly new technology. We do have an installation for Caltrans in Big Bear. The Apple headquarters up in Palo Alto, I believe. It's a magnificent building. It's sitting on those bearings right there. There have been several nationwide as well as international applications for this bearing. It's a fairly new technology.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. Al, thanks for the report. Specifically, how many columns will we have these TFP bearings?
32.
32.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything further? Is there a motion on this item by Commissioner Rodriguez, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 11. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 11 forthwith. Thank you for the additional fact sheet as well. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Before we do agenda item number 12, we do have two prior meeting minutes to approve. The meeting minutes from Friday, May 20th, 2016, and the meeting minutes of Monday, May 23rd, 2016. Is there a second to my motion that we approve those meeting minutes by Commissioner Rodriguez? Any objection? Without objection, those meeting minutes will be approved. Agenda item number 12, recommending, this is the Bureau of Sanitation, recommending that the board authorize the Bureau of Sanitation to issue a notice of award to DCSC Incorporated from the Bureau of Sanitation on-call consultant list for sanitation-related services projects to provide support for the GIS mobile service fulfillment system in response to task order solicitation number 83-16-02. John Tays.
Good morning, everyone. John Tays, LA Sanitation. The Bureau is requesting $460,000 for the phase 2 of our mobile fulfillment system, which we refer to as SandStar. This is the system used by our fulfillment crews in the field to pick up the refuse requests that are collected not only from council districts, but from MyLA 311 and all the other intake sources. Currently, we're using this system for our special collections, bulky item pickups, dead animal removals. We process already about 2,500 tickets a day. We've successfully processed over 500,000 records through this system. What we're proposing today is the expansion into additional services that LA Sanitation provides. The key one being our new Clean Streets initiative. This system will allow us to better direct our crews, work with other city agencies in fulfilling the homeless encampment and illegal dumping requests in relation to the Clean Streets program and the work that our Assistant Director Leo Martinez is performing. As well as that, we will be covering the container services. So all of the container service requests that the city processes, roughly 800 requests per day, to service our constituents, damaged, new, missing, or issuing of containers. We also plan to expand into the multifamily bulky item sweeps program, where our crews are proactively sweeping the areas and picking up trash that wasn't directly reported by any constituents. As well as a new authorization management system to better support the workflows of sanitation and the other city departments involved in the homeless encampment cleanup. So we received 2 different proposals. We offered to 6 different companies. The 4 that didn't respond, we requested for reasons why we didn't receive any. And the company we went with, DCSC, they are they have a proprietary off-the-shelf software solution that we're using currently for the Sandstar system. So that's the proposal that we went with for this expansion. And
So, John, it's
Yeah.
off-the-shelf software, and of the other four that did not submit proposals, did any of them respond to your inquiry, or?
yeah, we inquired for why they did not respond, but we did not get any responses back. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Those are the programs that this system will cover.
Okay, any
Is there
questions?
any questions?
Commissioner Cinto?
Really quick, thank you. John, thank you. Just wanted to note the board report has a figure of 10,000 requests, service requests fulfilled, and the task force it's 100,000 because we're doing 3,500 a day. So I just
Yeah,
wanted
those numbers were not correct. I asked for them to be revised, but it just didn't come through in time. The numbers I put on the record today are the actual numbers.
100,000.
Currently, we're handling about 2,500 requests per day. In total, since November, we've processed over 500,000, and going into this new expanded program, that number daily will climb probably close to 4,000.
Okay. So for the record, Mr. Campos, you could get with Mr. Tays on just correcting the numbers in the board report for our files.
We can definitely do so,
Great.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Is there a motion on this agenda item? By Commissioner Cinto, I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 12. Any problem sending number 12 forthwith? We'll send number 12 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Everyone.
Agenda item number 13. This is the Bureau of Sanitation requesting that the board authorize the Director of the Bureau of Sanitation to issue a notice of award to DCSC Incorporated from the Bureau of Sanitation on-call consultant list for sanitation automation and technology projects to provide computer technical support in response to task order solicitation A316-01. Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. This is Chen Mei Liu from Bureau of Sanitation. This task order solicitation is to obtain contract services to provide computer technical support for the Bureau of Sanitation. The total funding for this project is not to exceed $2.7 million over 3 years. The MBE participation level is 40% of the project. The Bureau of Sanitation maintains an extensive network of over 2,200 PCs across 25 sites. The ongoing demand for PC support has risen steadily over the recent years, beyond the capacity of the city staff. The Bureau has been relying on contract labor to maintain the proper staffing level for the PC support and help desk operation. We need this contract, the previous contract has expired. We need this service to continue to provide support to our users. Therefore, the Bureau of Sanitation respectfully requests the board to authorize issuing a notice of award to the selected contractor, DCSC Incorporated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Liu. One question, and really this is just more for clarification. You indicated the MBE representation of 40% or participation of 40%. But EK Consulting Services, which is listed as the MBE, is also a woman-owned business as well, but they can't get credit for both. Is that correct?
That's correct. We were told that you can only select either or, either MBE or WBE.
Okay. Just wanted the record to reflect that, though, for somebody looking at the document. Any questions regarding agenda item number 13? Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I just want to say, we've certainly had numerous accounts of discussions about making sure that we increase our numbers. And so in terms of this particular contract, I'm glad to see that we do have an MBE prominently involved in this. And I've always believed that when we do this, there's plenty of opportunity in contracting for many people. So I'm glad to see this kind of effort moving in this direction. So thank you for that.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
Anything further on 13? Is there a motion on 13 by Commissioner Repenning? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 13. Any issue sending 13 forthwith? We'll send number 13 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 14 from the Bureau of Sanitation, recommending that the board approve and forward to the mayor to authorize the director of the Bureau or his designee to execute the proposed amendment number 2 to the memorandum of agreement between the City of Los Angeles and the University of California at Los Angeles Institute of the Environment and Sustainability for the Los Angeles Clean Water Sustainability Analysis Project. This amendment is for a no-cost, one-year time extension. Steve Nakato. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Steve Nakato, LA Sanitation Watershed Protection Program. As you summarized, the sanitation is seeking a one-year extension to an existing contract with UCLA's Institute of Environment and Sustainability for our LA Clean Water Sustainability Analysis project. Project was originally took effect in June of 2013. Recently expired as of June 1st of this month. We are seeking the extension for just 1 year at no additional cost. One of the things we're looking for from the study is to look for opportunities for increasing the use of recycled water from our treatment plants. And the study is looking at the different treatment areas over the now 4-year period. One of the reasons for the extension is there were some questions and difficulties with the gathering of the data and the quality of the data, so that delayed some of the progress of the project. However, the progress is being made, and we just anticipate no other issues in completing the final report by June of 2017. So.
Any questions from Mr. Nakato on agenda item number 14? I don't have any questions. Hearing no objections from Trojans in the room, this will go forward with UCLA. A motion from Commissioner Repenning, seconded by Commissioners Rodriguez and Jacinto. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 14. Any problem sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 15. Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration and Council District 15 a requested contract award the City of Los Angeles 25th Street Drainage Improvement Project, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $472,715 to Palp Incorporated, doing business as XL Paving Company, Nadir Shah.
Nadir Shah, Bureau of Engineering, Street Improvement and Stormwater Division. This project will be undertaken at 25th Street and San Ramon Canyon in Council District 15. This street is flooded during severe storm events, and flooding and mud and debris flow from the San Ramon Canyon. The project will improve the drainage system at 25th Street by reconstruction of the existing storm drain system. The construction duration for the project is 180 calendar days. 5 bids were received on January 20th, 2016, ranging from $472,715 to $679,000. The first lowest bid is 5.16% lower than the city engineer's estimate of $498,420. It is our recommendation that the board declare XL, the first lower bidder, to be the responsive and
Just one moment, Mr. Shaw, just for my colleagues' note, the board reports, the bid summary sheets were backwards between items 15 and 16. So if you want to see the bid summary sheet on 15, look under your board report for 16 and vice versa. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it is our recommendation that the board declare XL the first low bidder to be the first lowest responsive and responsible bidder and award the contract for this project. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions? I don't have any questions. Commissioner Cinto?
Thank you, Nadir. Thank you for the report. It's good to see that we're coming in just a little bit lower than the engineer's estimate. And I do appreciate the summary of the contractor's past performance, with some issues that may have arisen, and also recount of the utilization of MEB, WEB, and BIP numbers. That's important as we try to ensure and at a glance are able to tell how is this contractor doing along those lines. So thank you, sir.
Anything further on number 15? Is there a motion on number 15 by Commissioner Cinto, seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez and Commissioner Davis? Any
Thank you.
objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 15. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 15 forthwith. Moving to number 16, Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award in Council Districts 6 and 13. Los Angeles Glendale Water Reclamation Plant primary tanks and chlorine contact tanks guardrails project, and the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant primary tanks, secondary clarifiers, and chlorine contact tanks guardrails project, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $1,241,000 to Keywood Instruction West Company. Mr. Zahedi.
Good morning, Sean Zahedi, Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division. This is a contract award. Concrete tanks, some of the concrete tanks at the Glendale and Tillman plants do not have guardrails. And ordinarily, under normal operation, these tanks are covered. But when they're taken out of service for maintenance, the situation creates a safety hazard for workers. So this project is going to provide temporary guardrails for unprotected tanks at these two treatment plants. The work is basically includes core drilling holes around the perimeter of these unprotected tanks, and the contract also provides for the fabrication of temporary aluminum guardrails in a variety of configurations that will be color-coded based on their configuration and stored at the plant, and will be used when needed. The holes will basically serve as a place to insert the posts for these guardrails to keep them stable. The project has been found to be categorically exempt from the requirement of CEQA, and our city engineer estimate is $1,805,000. We received 6 bids. The lowest bid is by Keywood Infrastructure West at $1,241,000, which is 31.25% below the city engineer estimate. Keywood is a certified local business. They have successfully complied with our business inclusion program, and they're pledging 11.03% SBE and 12.97% OBE. The project was advertised with a 10% minimum subcontracting requirement. Keywood has exceeded that, and Keywood has done a number of projects for us, and there have been no significant unresolved problems in inspection, compliance, or bidder responsibility with them in the past. The table on page 4 shows their participation as far as their history with the underrepresented business enterprises. Staff recommends award to Kiewit, first low bidder, to be the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for this project. Thanks.
Any questions at all? Commissioner Jacinto on agenda item number 16.
Thank you, President James. Sean, thank you for the report and again for including the past participation and performance of Kiewit. So this is a temporary solution that in a year we're going to construct these guardrails and take them off.
Right. The guardrails will be fabricated, stored at the plants, and will be used as needed. The only permanent structure with this project are the holes around the perimeter of the plant, the tanks, where these guardrails will be inserted.
I see. Thank you.
Anything further on agenda item number 16? Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Commissioner Jacinto has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 16, seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 16. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 16 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 17, Bureau of Street Services, Office of Accounting and Bureau of Street Services requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $21,531.04 to provide for sidewalk maintenance assessment district services for the Ventura Sidewalk Maintenance District for fiscal year 2015-16 through June 30th, 2016, while a new contract is established. Elvia and Mario, whoever wants to go first, it's yours.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Commissioner James. Before I get started, would it be possible to combine items 17 through 18? They're very similar items, authorities for expenditure for the same duration.
You can describe them however you want. We're going to vote differently because there are different monetary amounts.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, great. Well, good morning, first of all. Commissioners, city managers, executives, and especially Commissioner James. We are here basically on behalf of the Bureau of Street Services, and I should formally introduce myself. I'm Elvia Garcia with the Bureau of Street Services. I'm a senior systems analyst too, and next to me is Mario Interiano. He's a senior management analyst one, who as of recent is transitioning into the sidewalk maintenance assessment contracts, for which our Bureau recently formed a contracts unit. We have before you basically three authorities for expenditure, and that we would like to request approval to have the board authorize, execute, and give me one moment. That we would like to request the board approve and execute. The following are the three AEs. One is for the Ventura Sidewalk Maintenance Assessment District for the amount of $21,531.04 through contract C113829. Next is the authority for expenditure for Van Nuys for $27,147.96 through contract C114030. And lastly is the Wilshire Miracle Mile Sidewalk Maintenance Assessment District Authority for Expenditure for $53,534.99 through contract C111599. All three authority for expenditures are for the duration for the window of January 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2016 for services rendered to these sidewalk maintenance assessments. The sidewalk maintenance assessments are funded by assessees in these three districts through an annual assessment process that basically triggers a billing through the county's annual property bill, tax bill. The services rendered through these contracts include cleaning, street cleaning, pressure washing, and the emptying and cleaning of the trash receptacles at each of these districts. In the case of the Wilshire Miracle Mile, additionally, there's median island maintenance to the landscape, as well as tree trimming that is performed at that district. Moving forward, what is currently happening is Mario, along with his staff, are drafting the bids that will be released in the next few months. What the group is targeting is to be back before the board in August to get approval to release the bid. And so that with the goal of being able to finalize a contract end of September, first part of October time window. And so within the next 3 to 4 months roughly, we should have contracts in place moving forward with these assessment districts is the intent.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Thank you. So, so if we're going to wait, if we're not going to have new contracts in place until the next few months, why aren't we just basically providing authority for expenditure until that timeline? Why are we going through June? Is it because
Yes,
of the
and
new
we do
fiscal
have them
year,
ready
or?
to go, in fact, but what I understood through our financial folks is that because of the fiscal year windows
Fiscal
and
year?
so forth,
Okay.
we have the next packets, the next round
Right.
ready to roll, so come July 1st, we'll be able to come back and get it approved, and we're looking at a window of...
So you'll do another 3-month window of
Well, what we're
AFE?
doing, just to play it safe with the contractual process, we're looking at July 1st through December 31st, although we do not expect to utilize the full window.
Okay. And then you said this is going out for bid for an opportunity for a new competitive process with these new potential contractors, so it could be a totally different...
Oh, yes, it's an open bid process announced through the LA Bavin, and basically that will require all bidding vendors to meet city guidelines and standards.
Terrific. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Anything further on agenda item? We'll take them one at a time since they're different amounts. Agenda item 17. Commissioner Rodriguez has made a motion that we adopt agenda item 17. I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 17. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 17 forthwith. On number 18, let me just put it correctly into the record since I did not do that yet. Office of Accounting and Bureau of Street Services requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of $27,147.96 to provide for sidewalk maintenance assessment district services for the Van Nuys Sidewalk Maintenance District for fiscal year 15-16 through June 30th, 2016, while a new contract is established. Is there a motion on 18 by Commissioner Rodriguez? I'll second it. Any objection to agenda item number 18? We'll adopt agenda item number 18. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 18 forthwith. And for number 19, Office of Accounting and Bureau of Street Services are requesting board approval and execution of authority for expenditure in the amount of $53,534.99 to provide for sidewalk maintenance assessment district services for the Wilshire Miracle Mile Sidewalk Maintenance District for fiscal year 15-16 through June 30th, 2016, while a new contract is established. Is there a motion on 19 by Commissioner Rodriguez? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 19. Any issue sending number 19 forthwith? Thank you. We'll send number 19 forthwith. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Mr. Executive Officer, are we cleared on the regular agenda for today?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Then we'll move to our special meeting agenda. Give me just a second. We did 20. Okay. Our special meeting agenda. Let's start with agenda item. We have a couple of speaker cards on some of these. Let's start with agenda item number 10. The Office of Accounting and the Bureau of Sanitation requesting that the board approve and execute an authority for expenditure in the amount of $50,000, an adjusted total of $55,000, for payment to the Los Angeles Conservation Corps for participation in the 2016 Paddle the Los Angeles River program. This participation provides the Bureau of Sanitation with access to the Los Angeles River for monitoring water quality and health assessments. Through the program, staff will be able to access the middle sections of the river that are normally inaccessible from the banks or the bridges. Let's see, we'll start. Mr.
President, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, just for the record and for just procedural purposes, just for quorum purposes, we do have President James, Vice President Rodriguez, Commissioner Repenning Davis, and Jacinto, our President. We do have a quorum. For speaker cards, in terms of what we received, we have not received any speaker cards for general public comment. However, we did receive a speaker cards for item 10, 8, and 11, which will be distributed to you shortly.
Okay, great. Well, and I have some speaker cards already from earlier this morning for the special. We'll close general public comment. And Mr. Nakano, could you just provide just a summary, and then we'll go to the speaker cards. Just set it up for the record, and then we'll go to the speaker cards on the item. So a summary on agenda item number 10.
Cecily. Steve Nikaido, again, LA Sanitation Watershed Protection Program. So LA Sanitation is interested in having access to these parts of the river that would be provided by participating in this paddle program sponsored by LACC. As you know, this part of the river is downstream of our DC Tillman water treatment plant. So we are interested in having access to the river to be able to assess its water quality and do other assessments. And as the summary noted, this would provide access that we wouldn't otherwise have. So participation in this program would provide us with that access.
And would your summary be the same? We'll do 11 separately. Let's start with Ms. Peters from Council District 13. Ms. Peters? Oh, she may have stepped out. Okay, we'll see if she comes back. Just note for the record that on behalf of Council District 13, she supports items 10 and 11. Pablo Cardoso, you have a card on agenda item number 10.
Morning, everyone. Commissioner Monica Rodriguez. I'm here, as you can see, I'm sporting my Pedal the LA River shirt. And this will be our 5th season with the LA Conservation Corps. I'm sorry, Pablo Cardoso with the LA Conservation Corps. This is our 5th season doing Pedal the LA River. And how this is important for us is that we provide youth trips throughout the city of LA. Last year, due to the generosity of LA Sanitation, we provided over 400 youth to come out to the river. And of course, what they do is they learn about the river, the history of the river, the different type of birds, the different type of wildlife. And most importantly, they are aware that there is a river behind their backyard, so to speak. And the unfortunate part about this is as they learn, they also see that along the 1.5 mile river that we take up in Sepulveda Basin, there's a lot of trash. And they have a different perspective at the end of the trips. Not only do they learn about the water quality, but they learn that they themselves have to be more proactive, take more action, making sure that the trash is disposed of properly. And they observe just an overwhelm of trash, bulky items. But the important part here is that they come out more, again, they become more aware and more, they want to take some different actions. They want to talk about how they can get more involved with the water quality, and we have different partners, which one, of course, is LA Sanitation, Urban Semillas, Heal the Bay, and they want to take action. They want to do river cleanups, and that's something that we want to also plan in the future. So this is very important for the LA Conservation Corps. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Also on agenda item number 10, Karen Luna.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Karen Luna, and I'm a program coordinator at Urban Semillas, and I am here to express our support for the expenditures being proposed by LA Sanitation to the LA Conservation Corps and the MRCA. For over a decade now, Urban Semillas has been working on reconnecting underserved communities, and in particular youth, on the importance of protecting our most important resource, water. In 2011, Urban Semillas partnered with the LA Conservation Corps to bring a high-caliber kayaking program that educates the public on water issues while having fun as they kayak along one of the most natural areas in the upper LA River. Investments like the ones being proposed by LA Sanitation will continue to support programs that educate and engage the public about the need to see the water in the river and its sources as a resource that must be protected. The LA Conservation Corps and the MRCA are exemplary programs that deliver on these issues. For these reasons, we ask that you support LA Sanitation on this request. We have submitted a letter for the record. Thank you.
Yes, and we have your letter, Ms. Luna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Commissioner Jacinto?
Thank you, President James. Steve, thank you for the report. I appreciate the public comment or the testimony, and of course the whole concept around the LA River and paddling. I was able to do that. Commissioner Penning invited me to come out early on, and it was very transforming in terms of experience of paddling the LA River. Looking at sort of just the administrative side of it, we understand that this is it is described as participation in the program, and I also see sponsorship as well. So participation and sponsorship kind of are almost two different things. I just wanted there to be a clarification and a confirmation that participation to be able to get access to the river to fulfill compliance or anything is fine. So with sponsorship as well. I just didn't know if those meant the same thing, or is that an and, participation and sponsorship? I just wanted there to be a clarification so we're very clear and transparent.
I'm not sure myself, actually, about the distinction. I'll let Domingo.
Good morning, Domingo Orozco, LA Sanitation Commissioner. For that question, it is an and for the record. This does provide us scientific access to conduct studying of our total maximum daily loads within the river as we're downstream from DCT Tillman. And then it also, like Pablo from LACC explained, it does provide participation so that we can have access for that as well.
Wanted that clarification. It's an and. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto. Anything further? Commissioner Repenning, I'm sorry.
Sure. I just want to go on the record with my support for this program. As I think everyone knows, our mayor has put a lot of effort and energy and citywide with our city council members, Councilmember O'Farrell leading the way to revitalize the river. And so for us, looking to build public support for that, we want people to understand what our river can be and what it is now and the work that it's going to take to get there, because we do want to have the support of the public as we allocate city funding, as we pursue federal funding, state funding. So for me, having people come out in these two areas of the river that do provide the best example of what the river area will become once we restore the ecosystem that was lost back in the 30s, having people have the opportunity to go out there firsthand and really experience it, I think is a very worthwhile cause. And I also appreciate that this program is investing as well in programs like the LA Conservation Corps, which we know do work with some of our at-risk youth and adults. So I think it's a beneficial use of city resources, and I do support it.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez.
Thank you so much for this, and I want to thank the Corps and our partners, our other academic and community organizations that are supporting these efforts, because they are important to connect the members of our community to the river and what it provides, and why people need to understand the connectedness between our clean water systems, but more importantly, how so much of what we have in our streets end up lining up into our river and then ultimately out into our having to be treated and otherwise. What I do want to make really specific note of, as someone who has lived in the Northeast San Fernando Valley, and we have a number of tributaries that obviously contribute to the LA River, I had the good fortune of having the perspective of paddling the river. I know it's changed my perspective, as well as a number of folks from the Northeast San Fernando Valley that have participated in it. But we have to make a more direct connection to folks that don't live immediately along the river. It's because this is a citywide resource, and I want to ensure that we have a significant amount of outreach into the other parts of the city that don't have necessarily direct access, because we are all connected to it. We are one big city family, and given that we all derive such benefits from this and are going to be supporters of this, given our mayor's vision, given, so much of what the river can provide going forward. I want to make sure that we help to build that understanding and awareness on a citywide basis. And so I just want to ensure that, and I know the Corps has done an outstanding job doing a number of outreach efforts into the Northeast, as well as other parts of the city where we do have tributaries on the West San Fernando Valley. But I just want to put that on the record as well, that it's important that we do an effective outreach effort to ensure that more people have exposure from a variety of parts of the city.
Thank you, Commissioner, because that's an excellent point that we share as well. And the partnership between Sanitation Conservation Corps, Urban Semillas, others, including MRCA, which we'll find on the next agenda item, is exactly to that end, is how can we partner more effectively and reach those that are in tributary areas that are not necessarily those who have the river in their backyard, and get them access to that as something that they can expand their sustainability ideas with. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further on agenda item number 10? Is there a motion on number 10? By Commissioner Repenning, seconded by Commissioners Davis and Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 10. Any issue sending number 10 forthwith? We'll send number 10 forthwith. Thank you. Agenda item number 11, motion, Office of Accounting, Bureau of Sanitation, requesting that the board approve and execute an authority for expenditure in the amount of $50,000 for payment to the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority in connection with the 2016 Los Angeles River kayaking activities. Participation provides the Bureau of Sanitation with access to the river for monitoring water quality and health assessments. By joining MRCA's kayaking activities, staff can access the middle sections of the river that are normally inaccessible from the banks or bridges. We have a couple speaker cards on number 11. Anything, I noticed that Ms. Peters is gone. I will again reflect for the record her support for agenda item number 11. Ms. Luna, I think, stepped out. She, in essence, spoken on both items anyway. Anything, Mr. Nakita or Mr. Roscoe, to your presentations additional from agenda item number 10?
We're here to answer any questions.
Okay. Anything further from our colleagues? Is there a motion on number 11? By Commissioner Repenning, seconded by Commissioners Rodriguez and myself. We'll adopt agenda item, any objection? We'll adopt agenda item number 11. Any issue sending 11 forthwith? We'll send number 11 forthwith. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Let's see. We have some tree trimming contracts that we need to go through. Let's start with agenda item number 2. Council District 3, Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award. Tree trimming in the parkways of Lockhurst Drive from Friar Street to Victory Boulevard and certain other streets. Recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $513,681.35 to Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated for the trimming of 3,451 trees for the first year, 2015-16, with a city option to renew annually for an additional 2 years. Mario, are you the presenter on agenda item number 2? Or Mr. Tyson, or whomever from the Bureau you would like to bring to the podium. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, and Executive Officer. My name again is Mario Interiano. I'm with the Bureau of Street Services. And as the agenda item states, we are seeking that the board approve award of this contract to Thrifty Tree Services. They have been, after review by the Bureau of Contract Administration, determined to be the lowest responsible bidder, and request your approval.
Any questions regarding the agenda item number 2? We have a number of tree trimming items that we're going to be covering this morning. There are some differences between them, so there is a process I want to go through on each of these. On agenda item number 2, Commissioner Repenning.
What was the estimate for this work?
I believe the estimate
$465,885.
see.
Make sure I'm in the right, we've got the right estimates attached. Yes, $465,885 is what's on my board report. Is that correct?
That's correct. 465,885.
Commissioner Penning, anything else? Okay. Anything on number 2?
No, no, I just, and I know we're going to go through several of these this morning. You know, I wanted to note that, you know, it's very tough, you know, approving things when they're coming in, you know, higher than what we anticipated in terms of our expenditures. But if there's anything that we know, and when we're talking about a back to basics agenda, there's nothing more basic than what residents want in this city than to have their trees trimmed. And I know that given the drought and a lot of other circumstances that we've been facing with some harsh weather conditions, as well as a number of fairly strong windstorms, we've had a significant increase in the kind of distress, I'll just say, of our trees throughout the city. And so I'm just, you know, as difficult as it is fiscally to sometimes swallow some of the expenditures associated with this type of work, the truth of the matter is that we are in dire need of addressing these issues. And I'm just, I'm happy to see that we're going to start commencing this work because I know we've had some, you know, the challenges with our city crews and the demand of their time has, you know, we're stretched. We're very stretched. And so I just wanted to put that on the record as we commence going through each of these contracts, these contract awards, and going through the conversation. I just know what value it is in terms of our responsibilities to our residents, and it's an important one. And so I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Anything further on agenda item number 2? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 2, seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 2. Any issue sending number 2 forthwith? We'll send special number 2 forthwith. Let's go to special number 3. Bureau of Street Services and Bureau of Contract Administration. Council Districts 2 and 7 requested contract award. Trimming in the parkways of Lankershim Boulevard from Victory Boulevard to Sylvan Street and certain other streets, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $793,527.75 to Thrifty Tree Service Incorporated for the trimming of 5,715 trees for the first year 2015-16 with the city option to renew annually for 2 additional years. Mario, on number 3.
Yes, again, Mr. President, the Bureau is requesting that the board approve this particular award of contract to Thrifty Tree Services. And just for the record, the estimated value of this particular contract was $771,525 for year 1. The Bureau of Street Services, along with the Bureau of Contract Administration, both recommend award of this contract to Thrifty Tree Services in the amount stated in the agenda.
This one's a little closer to the city estimate. Any questions on agenda item number 3? Commissioner Repenning.
Just looking at all of these, I know we're going to go through them individually, just noticing that the participation levels are low. And I don't know if there's a particular reason for that. It would seem to me that tree trimming, you know, unlike some of the work that we approve where it's very specialized, would be an area where we would have a greater range of diversity in terms of who's bidding. So I don't know if you have any comment.
That's something that we can look into. I wouldn't have an answer for you at this moment, but it's definitely something I can work with our Urban Forestry Division and see if what the history has been in the past for our tree trimming contracts, and then report back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Actually, going forward, and Hannah, Commissioner Penning, that's a very good point. I think there's an opportunity for us to be more proactive in this area in particular. So perhaps we do something similar in the way that we've done our Small Business Academy to develop something to do outreach for possible contractors that would be interested in this service area?
Right. In fact, Mario and I were on the dash talking about what opportunities we can do, and so we're thinking about the local, the median islands, and see how we can maybe make the contractors, the contracts small, so that we can provide more opportunities. So we will be discussing further with Commissioner James on that.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you both, Commissioner Repenning and Commissioner Rodriguez. Anything further on agenda item number 3? I'm going to make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 3, and thank you, Hannah, as well. Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection on number 3? Without objection on number 3, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issues sending it forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith for Council Districts 2 and 7. Agenda item number 4, Bureau of Street Services and Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award for Council Districts 4 and 13. Tree trimming in the parkways of Otsego Street from Union Avenue to Alvarado Street and certain other streets, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $862,353 to Mariposa Landscapes Incorporated for the trimming of 5,043 trees for the first year, 2015-16, with city option to renew annually for 2 additional years. Mario on number 4.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Again, the Bureau requests approval of this particular contract to be awarded to Mariposa Landscapes. There, as the agenda states, the bid came in at $862,353, and the city's estimate was for $680,805. Again, Mariposa is the lowest, most responsive bidder, and we request your approval.
Any questions on number 4? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection on number 4? Without objection on number 4, we will adopt it. Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We'll send number 4 forthwith. Moving to agenda item number 9. Number 9, Bureau of Street Services and Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award for Council Districts 10 and 15. Tree trimming in the parkways of Lucerne Boulevard from Olympic Boulevard to 9th Street and certain other streets, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $766,217 to West Coast Arborists Incorporated for the trimming of 4,429 trees for the first year, 2015-16, with the city option to renew for 2 additional years. Mario on number 9.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, the Bureau requests that you approve this award of contract to West Coast Arborists. The Bureau's estimate was at $597,915 for the first year, where West Coast Arborist lowest bid came in at $766,217. And in working with the Bureau of Contract Administration, we've determined that they are the lowest responsible bidder, and again, request your approval.
Any issues with, any questions on number 9? I don't have any questions. Commissioner Davis?
I wanted to ask, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues, both Penning and Rodriguez, in terms of really capturing the best opportunity we can moving forward in terms of the inclusion program. I've noticed that we do have some, I think it's emerging business enterprises involved, and I am seeing a number of somewhere around 8% of emerging businesses and on one chart and then 4% on another. Obviously, these are some of our newer businesses doing business with us. So I think that is certainly some promise to create opportunities for those new businesses coming in as well, and that hopefully we will continue to search to move forward with that as well. I think that's equally as important, particularly as we look at the minority business and women businesses as well, and the education and training opportunity. So I just wanted to mention that because I do notice that this area in which the scope of work exists is an area where, in fact, a lot of the residents in that area fit into that category. So I wanted to just add that to our issues of observation and hopefully implementation in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Any questions on number 9? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 9. Is there a second? Commissioner Rodriguez seconds. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 9. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 9 forthwith. Let's go to agenda item special 1. One moment. Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award Council Districts 1 and 14. Tree trimming in the parkways of Pico Boulevard from Union Avenue to Alvarado Street and certain other streets. Recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $864,508.05 to Trimming Land Company for the trimming of 4,445 trees. Mr. Smith, Chris, could you join us at the podium? Before we begin with the summary, Mario, I have a series of questions I want to ask the Bureau of Contract Administration. Regarding an email that was received by the Bureau of Contract Administration that went to Ms. McGlinchey and was brought to my attention by Mr. Smith and Ms. Choi this morning, that I want to put on the record, and I want to respond to it on the record, and then proceed with Mario on, because this is going to apply to a few of these contracts that relate to either Trimming Land or United, but let's take these one at a time, and then we will refer back to them if necessary. The email says that a representative for the Center for Contract Compliance, which is a working history with the Bureau of Contract Administration, is concerned about awarding contracts to Trimming Land. This is under agenda item number 1 because they also question United Pacific. We'll get to that one in a moment. Agenda item number 1 because of bid documents related to performance history. The inquiry seems to be regarding the payment of prevailing wages. And so, one, I would like for you, Chris, to put on the record the Bureau's response to the email that came from the Center for Contract Compliance, and then I may have some additional questions for you along the way. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning. Chris Smith, Bureau of Contract Administration, General Services Division. We're also the designated administrative authority for the Contractor Responsibility Ordinance, which is what this email is addressing. The Center for Contract Compliance is apparently drawing attention to the contractor responsibility questionnaires that each contractor has to submit with their bids and regarding their response to certain answers contained within that questionnaire. The allegation being that they should be found non-responsive, non-responsible based on their responses to that questionnaire. Taking those in order with responsiveness first.
And one thing before you get to that, Chris, I do want to, I read the email. I want to hear the answer that you're about to give, but I just wanted to lay the foundation a little bit differently from my understanding of the email. The email, even though there's a typo, does use the word may have a problem. They don't say that they do have a problem.
Correct.
They say that they may have a problem.
Correct.
And then they're, in essence, asking for us to hold off on these to give them time to do confirmation. So that's another question that I'm going to ask about because they've known about these bids for some period of months now. But go ahead, Chris, with your, let's assume, as you said, that there is, that they're making the claim that there is a problem, but go ahead.
Right. As the designated agency responsible for the Contractor Responsibility Ordinance, our section of the Bureau of Contract Administration actually receives all of the questionnaires and vets those before we allow the process to proceed to where we are today with an award. With respect to responsiveness, the questionnaires that were submitted by these contractors on these particular contracts, they were completely responded to. That means that each question got a response, regardless of the content of that response. a response is responsiveness and constitutes responsiveness under the ordinance. So that's not an issue for us. With regard to non-responsibility, only the Board of Public Works can declare a contractor non-responsible, and that only happens after a thorough investigation is conducted and a public hearing is conducted here, at which point the board would rule for or against. In the case of the two contractors that are mentioned in the email, that has not happened and is not happening.
And there's no investigation being conducted by the Bureau of Contract Administration, correct?
That's correct.
And the issue that was raised regarding the payment of prevailing wages, this contract hasn't been awarded yet, and we have the ability to monitor our contractors to ensure that they're meeting all guidelines, not just prevailing wage, but all guidelines regarding any wage requirements through the process, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And any red flag such as the one that's raised by the office, the Center for Contract Compliance, I should say, is something that that you would respond to by monitoring the progress of the contract.
Absolutely.
Okay. So with that, we can start with Mario. Go ahead, sir. On agenda item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. On agenda number 1, the Bureau of Street Services is requesting that the board approve award to Trimming Land as the second lowest bidder and lowest responsive and responsible bidder. For reasons that when reviewing the bids, the Office of Contract Compliance and Bureau of Street Services took into account the local business preference. So even though the, Mariposa may have been the lowest bidder, they, after doing the local business program review and applying the criteria, Trimming Land then became the second lowest bidder, and which is part of our recommendation to receive award of this contract. However, the board has at its discretion the ability to award to either one because they have both been responsible bidders.
Okay, so now that we took care of the first issue on number 1, the second issue has surfaced, and that is that the agenda item indicates that we're recommending that the board declare the first low bidder, Trimming Land, an award, but actually Trimming Land was the second low bidder.
That's correct.
But you're applying the LBE. So the item number 1 was posted. So the drafted board report that's noted first needs to be corrected in the record. So, Mr. Campos, are we clear on where we are with the documentation on agenda item number 1?
Somewhat. So just for the...
I'll let you take a stab at it.
So just for the record, the agenda that was posted for this special agenda indicates that Trimming Land is the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder. However, the report before you indicates that it's the second lowest bidder. So in that sense, we would need to revise the agenda in our journals to indicate that it's the second lowest bidder.
Right.
That also brings another question that your board would have to consider. What do we do with the first lowest bidder? And I believe Mario is providing some context behind that. However, there would have to be some sort of declaration from your board in order to accept that first lowest, or the first lowest bidder, which would be Mariposa for the reasons stated by Mario, and then consider recommendation number 1 as the second lowest bidder.
Okay. Go ahead, Mario.
Thank you, Fernando. That is correct. The Bureau of Street Services is recommending award to the second lowest bidder after applying the local business preference, which gets Trimming Land to be the most non-responsive, responsible bidder, and request that you approve the board's recommendation.
So just so you're clear, you're recommending, as the agenda states, that Trimming Land be awarded the contract.
That Trimming Land be awarded the contract.
Once you apply the local business enterprise calculation, they become with that application, they become the lowest responsible bidder, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Is everybody clear on this one? Okay. Any questions, any further questions regarding the other issue as well? Commissioner Davis.
Clarification. So there was a local provision that gives trimming land the cutting edge on the contract, basically, is what you're telling me.
That is correct.
And Mariposa is from where?
Mariposa, I don't have their address, but this is again based on a review through the Bureau of Contract Administration that Mariposa it was not was not certified as a local business enterprise.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Could you repeat that?
Yes. Again, on a review by the Bureau of Contract Administration, it was determined that Mariposa is not a local business enterprise, and that then in that case, being that trimming land is locally based and is a local business enterprise, then they get that 8% application and then become the lowest responsive bidder.
Okay, and just for the record, their numbers are pretty much identical as it relates to the inclusion programs. They're pretty accurate, somewhat right in the same ballpark.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Boy, it got close with that 8%, really close. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 1 as amended.
Yes.
And declare it in the open record. Okay. Is there a second on that? By Commissioner Davis and Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1 as amended in the oral record. Any issue sending number 1 forthwith? We'll send number 1 forthwith. All right, let me get to the next issue. Let's see, let me find the next one I want to do here. Mr. Smith again. Number 5, Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award tree trimming in the parkways of Rochester Avenue from Beverly Glen Boulevard to Veteran Avenue and certain other streets. Recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $518,575.50 to Trimming Land Company, Incorporated, for the trimming of 3,231 trees for the first year of 2015-16, with a city option to renew annually for 2 additional years. Mr. Smith, one of the things that we covered in agenda item number 1 regarding trimming land were the issues that were raised by the Center for Contract Compliance. The question that I have is, or what I want the record to be clear, in case I wasn't crystal clear a moment ago, and I'll take this opportunity since it's the same contractor. My understanding of and I want to know if your understanding is consistent. My understanding of the Office of Compliance's email, which will be attached as part of the record, was that there may be an issue here regarding the payment of prevailing wages, and if and we should hold the contract to give the Center for Contract Compliance additional time to confirm what our Bureau does, in essence, confirming that the requirements of our contracting requirements are being met, and that they want that additional time to do so. That's my understanding, is that they're saying that they think that if we look back at prior documents that they may be able to find, that it would indicate that there might be a prevailing wage problem in the past. Is that your understanding?
There would be a prevailing wage problem in other agencies, not in this agency.
Because what?
Not in the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah, okay. So, is there anything based on the email that you've seen that would concern you moving forward with the trimming land contract based on what we've heard from the Center for Contract Compliance, also coupled with your knowledge of the work that the Bureau of Contract Administration is able to do?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mario, on number 5.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Again, the Bureau of Street Services requests that the board approve the award of this contract to Trimming Land Company as the lowest responsible bidder, who's bid at $518,575 for the first year, as compared to the city's estimate of $436,185 for that same first year.
Any questions on agenda item number 5? I don't have any questions. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 5. Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 5. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Agenda item number 6, Bureau of Street Services and Bureau of Contract Administration requested contract award for Council Districts 8 and 9, tree trimming in the parkways of 85th Street from Van Nuys Avenue to Western Avenue and certain other streets, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $646,852 to United Pacific Services Incorporated for the trimming of 4,094 trees for the first year, 2015-16, with a city option to renew annually for 2 additional years. Mr. Smith, one more moment. As I understand it, the email from the Center for Contract Compliance referenced 2 contractors that were on the table this morning, the trimming land that we discussed, and also United Pacific Services Incorporated, which is the subject of agenda item number 6. Their issues were the same for both, correct?
Correct.
Okay, would your answer to the questions that applied to trimming land be the same regarding United Pacific Services Incorporated?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mario, go ahead on number 6.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Again, the Bureau of Street Services is requesting that the board approve award of this contract to United Pacific Services as the lowest responsible bidder for the bid that they submitted at $646,852 as compared to $552,690 for the first year. I have to add that on this particular bid, we had a tie bid. We had 2 contractors submit the same bid for the first year. So the Bureau of Street Services consulted with the Office of the City Attorney and was advised that we could utilize the aggregate amount to determine the lowest responsible bidder.
Would you repeat that last part, Mario?
Sure.
Regarding the match?
Sure. When we received the bids, we noticed that both bidders, United Pacific Services and
I noticed it when I announced the bids, but go ahead.
Okay. So they came in as a tie bid. Now, we consulted with the city attorney's office, and city attorney advised that the Bureau can utilize the aggregate amount of all 3 years and determined that would be in the best interest of the city and award to in this particular case, United Pacific Services as the lowest responsible
That's
bidder.
That's based on what again?
That's based on the city attorney's recommendation.
Right, but I thought there was a category that you just described. I missed.
All I was saying is that based on the aggregate amount of
the aggregate.
Yes, of the first, second, and third year.
Oh, yes, because we're
bids,
doing that with this. It's the city option for years 2 and 3. So are you utilizing the city options for years 2 and 3 because of the tie?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. I'll make a motion on agenda item number 6, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 6 regarding and confirming the method for breaking the tie on year 1 described by Mario. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 6 forthwith. Thank you, Mario. I do want to just clear the record up. When I talk about the Office of Contract Compliance, that's in the Bureau of Contract Administration. The Center for Contract Compliance is the name of the entity that sent the subject email that we've been discussing. Agenda item number 7, requested contract award, Bureau of Street Services, Bureau of Contract Administration for Council District 11, tree trimming in the parkways of Chase Avenue from Short Avenue to the alley and certain other streets, recommending that the board declare the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award a contract in the amount of $550,436 to Trimming Land Company Incorporated for the trimming of 3,565 trees. Mario, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Again, the Bureau of Street Services requests your approval to award this contract to Trimming Land Company as the lowest responsible bidder, as their bids submitted at $550,436, which compares to the city's estimate at $481,275 for the first year.
Any questions on number 7? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 7. Is there a second? By Commissioner Rodriguez and Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send number 7 forthwith. Agenda item number 8. On agenda item number 8, Bureau of Street Services and Contract Administration, Council Districts 1 and 14. Tree trimming in the parkways of Sherman Way from White Oak Avenue to Haskell Avenue and certain other streets. Recommending that the board declare the second low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder after the local business preference percentage is applied, and award them a contract in the amount of $1,197,759 to Trimming Land Company Incorporated for the trimming of 6,767 trees for the first year, 2015-16, with the city option to renew annually for 2 additional years. We have a speaker card on number 8, but before we get there, I have a couple of questions. I think this is the final one for the day. On agenda item number 8, there is a description of the use of the local business preference, which is something that we did on agenda item number 1. We applied the local business preference, but the agenda hadn't stated it. So just to be clear, the way the agenda is written, Mario, that's the request as is of the Bureau on agenda item number 8, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And the board report with the recommendation is consistent, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So would you provide a summary of the Bureau's application of the local business preference, and then we will hear from the speaker card that we have. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. Again, in this particular case, the Bureau of Contract Administration verified that the apparent low bidder, UPS, is not a certified LBE, and that the apparent second low bidder, Trimming Land, is a certified LBE, and thus the local business preference application was made, which gives Trimming Land an 8% reduction in the price. So after doing that, the lowest bid then turns out to be Trimming Land at $1,197,759. And the Bureau of Street Services is then recommending that the board approve this award to this contractor based on our recommendation in applying this local business preference. And as I discussed in the first item, the board also has discretion to award to either of the two, but that is the Bureau's recommendation.
Okay, thank you. We have a speaker card from Gus Franklin from United Pacific Services. Mr. Franklin, come on up.
Good afternoon, President and Commissioners. 2 years ago, I came in front of the board, and I talked to you, Mr. President, about letting out 3-year contracts. Congratulations, you did that. The first
We have
time
an option for years 2 and 3, but go ahead.
This is I've been trimming trees for the city of LA for over 40 years. Way back when Joseph Lawson, you probably don't even remember him, he was a street superintendent. And in that 40-year period, I've never seen the city of LA let out a 3-year contract. And all the surrounding cities, they let out 3 to 5-year contracts. The Sherman Way contract, when we looked at it, we gave you, I thought, an extremely competitive bid. Do you have this document in front of you?
Yes.
If you look at the first page, the amount that we submitted to the...
Mr. Franklin, you came to and speak to us in San Pedro at the port, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, sir. Yeah, I remember.
Anyway, we looked at this contract. I have my certified arborist. I had a team of people out there looking at it. If you look at our bid submittal, we locked the city into the same unit price for 3 years. And the reason we did that is when we bid 3-year contracts with the other cities, we are locked into the same price for 3 years. And I extended that same unit price for all 3 years. Now, if you look at on page 1, if you add up the 3 years, like they did on the 85th Street contract, we came in to 9.6% lower than Trimming Land. We beat him by 1.6%. But the biggest issue to me here is that if these contracts if Sherman Way is awarded to United Pacific, we actually saved the city $372,000. If you can go to page 2 of my report. Our unit price for 3 years came out to $172. Trimming Land's unit price is $190.30 per tree. The savings to the city is $18.30 a tree. That's a huge savings when you're talking 20,000 trees. And as a matter of fact, it comes out to that huge difference, or that savings to the city, of $372,000. If you go to page 3,
Go ahead, sir.
okay, on page 3, $372,000 at the unit price that we submitted, United Pacific could trim an additional 2,163 trees at no cost to the city. Who benefits? The public and the residents of your city benefit. We, United Pacific, when I came in front of the board in San Pedro and I talked to the board, and I said, if you let out 3-year contracts, you're going to get the best competitive price. We stepped up to the plate. I think we did, because not only did we give you an extremely competitive price, we lock you into the same price. We didn't change and increase the price for the preceding years. For year 2 and 3, same price, same unit price. So I'm requesting the board to do exactly what your own city attorney did on the 85th Street contract. Because he looked at the 3 years, and I'm requesting that you, the commissioners, it's in your power to look at the 3 years, get more trees trimmed for the city, and save the city $372,000, because that's what we're doing for the city. I'm not, other than that, you're just taking $372,000 and giving it to Trimming Land. That's what you end up doing. So today, I'm requesting that you award this contract to United Pacific, give Trimming Land his 8%, he certainly deserves that, but we still beat him by 1.6%. In my mathematics, we win, hands down. That's my request today.
Thank you. Mr. Tyson, I have a couple of questions for you. Well, actually, before you leave, Mr. Franklin, I know my colleagues do too, but before you leave the podium, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You were here this morning, you heard the discussion regarding the email regarding the wage requirements that was referenced by the Center for Contract Compliance. Your company was one of the 2 that was expressed as listed as one of the entities that they want to look further into, the Center for Contract Compliance. You heard the discussion about what we're able to do to ensure wage requirements are met within the city of Los Angeles. Since you're here today, what would be your response to what was put on the table by the Center for Contract Compliance?
Well, first of all, we pay our payroll. We pay the prevailing wage. Contract Compliance has never ever sent us an email saying that we're in violation, and this is completely news to me. And we pay state prevailing wages. As a matter of fact, we pay higher wages than most companies. So I am surprised. I am absolutely surprised. And if we had a problem, and I've done work for the city for over 40 years, I would imagine somebody at contract compliance would pick up the phone. They would send me an email, and they would say, "You've got a problem." And I'll tell you why I don't. It's hard for me to even believe this, because contract compliance has the most powerful tool in their hands. The hammer that they have is they don't pay you. They don't pay you your progress payments. I have to pay all progress payments.
I don't want there to be confusion created. The email came from an outside entity that calls itself the Center for Contract Compliance. It was an email to our Office of Contract Compliance, not from the city's Office of Contract Compliance.
I can appreciate that, because we have no problem with contract compliance, because we have an extremely good relationship with contract compliance. We're always communicating with them by email. There is no problem that we're even aware of. And like I said, if you have a problem with contract compliance, and as a matter of fact, I'll tell you what contract compliance has done. Sometimes they've called us on the phone, and they'll tell us, where's your subcontractor's payroll? And if you need to get it in, if we're a day late, they're right on top of us. And if we're a day late, they don't process our progress payments. So they make sure your contractors are abiding by prevailing wage. And I'll tell you what, if you don't get paid in this city. So you got an extremely tight, I don't know if it's contract compliance, but they do a great job. So as far as I know, we don't have any problems.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Tyson, or Mario, either one or both of you maybe. And we'll hear from all my colleagues on this, but it just dawned on me. We have on agenda item number 6, which we passed and has already gone forth with. This is number 8, but on number 6, we broke the tie by the use of the 3-year, considering the option of the 3-year extension. So if we were to do the same thing here as it applies to United, and the numbers are accurate, then the protest from Mr. Franklin would make sense to adopt. And assuming his numbers are accurate, even the application of the LBE would still not get trimming land there by the 1.6%. Why the recommendation of trimming land on year 1? Was it just as simple as, well, there wasn't a tie, so we didn't really look to years 2 and 3, which is completely understandable, or was there some other reason?
That's correct. In fact, all of our bids went out as 1 year with options 2 and 3. So when looking at...
They're not 3-year contracts.
That's correct.
It's a 1-year contract with 2 options. I want to make that clear, with options.
That's correct.
Go ahead.
Those year 2 and 3 are optional.
Yes.
So the fairest way to look at determining the lowest bid was to base it off of the 1 year that's guaranteed. So that's the basis for the review and application of the local business preference, was just on that first year.
Mr. Franklin referenced his record with the city. He referenced it 2 years ago when he came and spoke to our board in San Pedro at one of our off-site meetings, and where we discussed the concept of a multi-year contract. Mr. Tyson, given your role at the Bureau of Street Services, is your understanding of our working relationship going forward with United consistent with what Mr. Franklin said?
Yes, it is.
Okay, colleagues, there were some lights on. Commissioner Penning.
Where is United located?
Mr. Franklin, you're free to answer that if you'd like. Where's United located?
Well, we're located
You can come up to the podium. That way we make a record that goes online. And
We have one office is located in Southgate. That's where 50, 60 employees meet in the morning. We have another office in Fullerton, and that's really we do tree inventory at that office. But our main office is in Southgate.
So you are within LA County?
Pardon?
You are within LA County?
Yes. On our business card, we have two offices, one in LA County, and we have one in Orange County. But our main office, our 2-acre facility is located in Southgate. It's LA County.
Okay. Thank you very much.
anything further? Commissioner Davis?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Urban Forestry, in terms of looking at the numbers in his presentation, do you agree with those numbers that were presented by United?
Yes, I mean, the numbers he presented in his package would coincide with the 3 years added together if...
So, Tim, just a little closer to the microphone.
Yes.
Just to be clear from Commissioner Davis's question, the numbers that are in the presentation are consistent with the numbers that are in the bid, and there needs to be a comparison with their bid and Trimming Land's bid.
Yeah.
And take a couple minutes if you want to do it, because...
So, the different, yeah.
We don't have year 2 or 3.
Here's a year 2 and 3.
Commissioner, I don't have the numbers for years 2 and 3 before me, so I can't verify the numbers that are on his.
Here's what I would be inclined to do, colleagues, on this. And granted, I know you guys may have further questions, but on this issue, we would like to get this contract awarded today. We're at the end of a fiscal year. There's a reason these were agendized the way they were. This money these services need to take place. Commissioner Rodriguez started with that on the first item that we spoke to this morning. So I don't doubt that our team can get these numbers, so we could make depending on what your questions are on your issues, I would be inclined to make a conditional motion that if the numbers check out and the percentage is right, then we make one decision that and my motion would be that we go with United, providing that the 3-year average checks out with the 1.6 improvement over the 8 points, percentage points that would be the LBE application. Absolutely. If those numbers are incorrect, then I would be inclined to go with Trimming Land. So we're betting on Mr. Franklin's numbers, basically, right. To put it in street terms. And he seems fairly confident in those numbers. But I
want to add one other point.
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
I think of advantage to the city is the opportunity for us at the same rate that United is presenting its numbers, additional 2,160 trees to be trimmed for that same price. I mean, that in fact for me is compelling.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. Savings for the city is unarguable. I'm not against that. I want to say to my colleagues that if we have not, as standard practice, looked at years 2 and 3 when we have a 1-year guaranteed, then we're setting a precedent. And we're looking at arbitrarily, in this case, we're gonna look at that for whatever reason. And if we don't do it as standard practice, then we run the risk of not following suit. And obviously we have a staff recommendation, not against savings for the city. But if we don't use that uniformly, we haven't done that before, then we are using it arbitrarily. And I would caution us.
This is in addition to the recommendation by the city attorney that we've already taken action on in terms of his recommendation.
First of all, it's not a point for clarification, Commissioner Davis, but what I would, at least in my opinion, what I would say, Commissioner Jacinto, is that we are. This is the first year, as I recall. And correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, that we've been here, that we have done the option 2 and the 2 and 3 are options. So I hesitate to use the word arbitrary because we haven't really set a precedent yet. So the question, I think you have a very valid question, Commissioner Cinto, is as we do this, do we want to consider years 2 and 3 as options? And I think that's a very valid discussion and one that's ripe right now. My recommendation would be, once we decided to let the bid solicitation out for year 2 and 3, why not consider them? Especially when we have an entity that we know we have a working relationship with, and we're likely to exercise the options. So I think you're exactly right. We are going to set precedent here, so let's have the discussion about whether or not this is the precedent we want to set. And my initial recommendation, I want to hear your thoughts, Commissioner Cinto, you put it on the table. My initial reaction is, once we've let out the contract for years 2 and 3, why not consider it when looking at the local business enterprise issue?
I'm fine with that, President James. I just think that that is a directive to staff to be consistent heretofore,
no doubt,
and to use that as the way forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Okay. And Commissioner Davis, you had a question, I think. Go ahead, sir.
His question was related to the tie and how we use that.
Then my apologies, sir, on your point of clarification. Yeah, you were referencing the prior agenda item. Because of the tie, they applied the 3 years. Absolutely fair enough. My apologies, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Penning.
I guess this is a question for Con Ed. Our local business preference policy is meant to at times give advantage to businesses that are located in LA County, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Countywide. Is there a reason that United has not applied to become a local business enterprise?
Mr. Franklin.
We've been at that Southgate location for 10 years. And believe it or not, we were always under the impression that you had to have your business in the city of Los Angeles. We only just found out last week that it could be in the county of Los Angeles. So I can assure you, Commissioner, we will never let this happen. I mean, we right now are moving forward to get certified as a local small business. But we just didn't know that. For some reason, we kept thinking it was the city of LA. And we were surprised to find that out.
Right.
Hopefully next year, we're going to be with that certification.
My take on this, colleagues, is that we have the discretion to use the LBE policy in situations where it makes sense and where we feel that there's a greater benefit to our local communities by going with one business over another, even if the cost is higher to the city. I'm not convinced in this case that going with the second higher bidder is going to have a greater community benefit in terms of the local economy than going with the lowest bidder. And that's where I'm at on this.
I would agree with Commissioner Penning. Commissioner Davis, Rodriguez, anything else? So I think have we confirmed the numbers, gentlemen, while we were having our discussion? Oh, no, you can't. So here's what...
President James,
yes.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. I can read the numbers pre-LBE applications. I do have those numbers for year 1, 2, and 3 for both companies,
okay,
in fact, for all companies.
Yeah, if you could read those, then we can do on our cell phone. I just want to confirm. Right. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
So there is a discrepancy in what the handout indicates by UPS. However, I will go ahead and read each of the years for you. So for Trimming Land Company Incorporated, year 1 was $1,197,759. Year 2 was $1,285,730.
Okay.
Year 3 was $1,380,768. So there is a discrepancy there with the subtotal on the handout that was provided by UPS. On the UPS side, year one was $1,163,924 even. The same number for year two, the same number for year three. And the subtotal is correct in the handout.
So it's minuscule. It doesn't change the 1.6 percentage difference between the
About
LBE.
$300 difference
And
with what was handed out to
Commissioner
you.
Repenning's
Pre-LBE application.
What?
This is pre the application of the
True.
the LBE.
But even if we applied the 8% LBE application, then it might be 1.5. It might be 9.5% instead of 9.6%, and maybe, and that would still, to Commissioner Cinto's issue about application in years 2 and 3, UPS would still be the lowest, even with the application. And to Commissioner Repenning's point, they're technically, and we have the discretion here, they're technically a local business enterprise anyway. So I don't know that the benefit that we're getting by going with trimming land instead of UPS. Gentlemen, the Bureau did nothing wrong here. To Commissioner Acento's point, this is a new street that we're driving down here, and we're establishing it along the way. So I think we're in concurrence. I would make a motion that we, having confirmed the numbers, that we award the contract to United Pacific Services, period. And it's not about whether we are applying the LBE or not. Is that a sufficient motion, Mr. Campos, or do we need to make a determination on the LBE?
You would have to make a determination. So you have 4 recommendations before you. Recommendation number 1 is declaring trimming land company the apparent second low bidder, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You would have to deny that recommendation, then replace that with declaring United Pacific or UPS to be the lowest bidder, to be the lowest responsible bidder, period. No application of the LBE program.
Okay, so what we're going to do then, I get it. So the motion will be to declare United Pacific Services, Inc., the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, comma, and award them the contract for the trimming of, and then we need to fill in the number of trees for their year 1. Can you guys give me the number of trees for their year 1, UPS's year 1, gentlemen, so I can fill it in?
Excuse me, let me, the trees, the number of trees they bid on is set. And they're bidding on that number. Right? Yeah. Okay. So the number of trees that were in the bid were set at 6,767 trees.
6,767,000 trees, okay. In the parkways of the streets listed above, in the amount of $1,163,924 even for year 1. So you see that, Mr. Campos? Okay. Parenthesis 2015-16, with city option to renew annually for 2 additional years, period. And then number 2 stays the same. Recommendation number 2 doesn't change. The wording doesn't change. Recommendation number 3, instruct the executive officer of the Board of Public Works to immediately advise United Pacific Services, Inc., to submit their bonds and insurance documents within 5 working days after the date of notification of award of this contract by the Board of Public Works. Okay? And then number 4, instruct the executive officer of the Board of Public Works to immediately advise United Pacific Services, Inc., that work on this project must start within 5 working days from the date of issuance of the notice to proceed, period. Is that clear with you, Mr. Campos?
That is clear.
Okay. And is that satisfactory to you?
That is satisfactory, so long as the board considers adopting or considering this item as amended with the recommendations you made on 1 and 3.
So that would be my motion. Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Commissioner Cinto?
Yes, President James, I just wanted to get clarity on the use or the beginning use of the consideration of all 3 years. How do we operationalize, how do we give that directive to staff so we're consistent and clear with them in terms of our expectations?
Okay. What I would recommend is when we have a local business enterprise issue on any of the tree trimming contracts that have a 1-year guarantee with a 2-year additional option, that the 3 years be taken into account in your recommendation. Now, going forward, gentlemen, what I would like the board report for us to indicate is what the difference in numbers are for year 1, the guarantee, and the consideration with years 2 and 3 if the options are exercised. We do this once a year, basically. Okay. Yeah, let out these contracts. And if we exercise the option, we won't be doing it every year on some of these.
So here's another curveball. Fernando Campos, again, Executive Officer. In the future, the Bureau of Street Services could consider releasing the request for bids for a 3-year contract, and then within that contract, they could include language that would allow the city to exercise its right to terminate at any time. Basically gets you to the same place, but then you have a solid 3-year contract as opposed to...
We haven't done that here.
We haven't,
Yeah.
correct. And
so that's
this is
something
for the
we can
future
discuss in the
consideration.
future. Yeah, that's not on the table
Still
today,
gets you to the same place, but just a different framework.
Fair enough. Are you okay with that, Commissioner Cinto? Okay. Commissioner Cinto is satisfied. Then the motion's made. Commissioner Rodriguez is seconded. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 8 as amended. Any issue sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, everyone, for the discussion, the transparency, getting the work done, and all of the excellent thoughts and comments on this one. Appreciate it. Mr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Then we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Excuse me, real quickly, I wanted to compliment the commissioners and thank you for what you did today. And I appreciate it. On behalf of United Pacific, I think it was the right thing to do, and you made the hard decision, and you did it. Congratulations. Thank you.